South African hip-hop artist, our very own. We get to claim him this morning. Brendan BlondZz Hendricks says God is alive. In his song with that title, he tells of his journey in Christianity and events that have brought him closer to God.
Now, BlondZz spits his rhymes without profanity, thankfully, and relates the reality of many living in the coloured communities of South Africa. The rapper is here to tell us about his upcoming album, Lost and Found. I'm still going to call you Prapi. To me, you will always be Prapi. BlondZz, we'll leave it for the stage. Brendan, good morning to you. Thank you so much, man, for making the time. Thank you so much. You didn't write this intro, though.
I didn't.
You were supposed to have written your own intro.
No,
you are writing everybody else's intro, but not even of your own.
We've got very talented people on the desk, so
that is very true. That is very true. And I mean, you're showing that you're one of them as well.
Yeah.
Talk to us about just, rapping, but also bringing Christianity into it. So it's almost like, if I can term it, rap gospel.
Okay, I could talk to you about that. So rap gospel, the way you term it, right? So the youth today isn't necessarily for God or into gospel, if I may. So I wouldn't necessarily say the song is more gospel. It's more of a message, if I may. It's me preaching the gospel, if I may, bringing a message across. So the youth is more into hip-hop. That's how we consume anything and everything today. So with that being said, I just thought the best way to remind people about who we are, where we are, and about God would be through music, something we all can relate to. So yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that you detail your own journey, especially within the coloured community, and I think a lot of times we like to report about this, but we don't like to speak to people within the community about this. Just talk to us a little bit about some of those realities that young people, young coloured people even, are facing today.
Yo, it's bad in the community, man. I must say, I'm from El Dorado Park, the south, so it's not much different than any other community. So I'd like to believe I speak and stand for guys in the community who don't see much or aren't afforded much opportunity. I mean, where I'm from, you'd find that young guys wake up in the morning with no hope. They forgot to dream, or the ability to dream is lacking now. So you find that these guys don't know what to do with themselves. They sit in the corners every day. They have no vision. So I thought, with the music, man, let me encourage these guys, bring across their stories. And like I said, I write my own music, so at times I wouldn't just write from my perspective. So when it comes to music, I would bring across the picture from your perspective. The person sitting on the corner, the person who's unable to afford a loaf of bread, the drug dealer. So it's just trying to bring everyone's message across into the music.
And those are some of the stereotypes about the coloured community. They're violent, they knife wielders, they drug dealers and the like. But then there is the story about a Brendan BlondZz Hendricks. There is somebody who is a believer in God, preaches the gospel of God, but does it in a way that is sexy, in a way that is attractive to the young ones, in a way that they can relate to you. What are you hoping to achieve? What stereotypes and misconceptions about the coloured community are you hoping to change with your music?
We're not all steer-com babies. We're not all stick-on babies. We all love to have fun. We're all human. We're just like everyone else. So I'd like to break away from the fact that colored people are lazy. They don't have vision. They don't dream. They don't like to achieve anything. Like myself, I've studied. I've broken that. I've got my degree. I've got a work. I've got a job. I've got passion. I've got dreams. All these things that I put together, it's kind of to show people where I'm from, communities like that you're not forgotten. You can do this, and even more. You can dream big too.
Yeah, and I wonder, especially when it comes to young people, is being Christian cool nowadays? Like,
as of late, as of late, it's not really a thing. As of late, it's not really a thing. I'd rather say that we've forgotten about God. I don't want to say the youth only, but majority, everyone, we've forgotten about God. The times we live in now, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm a preacher or anything, but then everything is because God is alive. We're sitting here because God is alive. The presidents are currently meeting in Russia because God is alive. Everything that's happening is a reminder that God is still with us.
And why do you think he's been forgotten?
It's moving with the times. We're moving too much with the times. We become self-dependent. That's the thing. And we no longer depend on a higher source. We depend on ourselves.
Yeah, it really is one of those conversations that we always need to keep having. But I think it becomes an issue around more Christian voices having to actually be at the forefront and be within the spotlight to talk a little bit about it and not necessarily hide behind the curtain with their faith, as it were. And more than anything else, what are you hoping to inspire from young colored kids? I mean, kids that you're saying that are unemployed, they may even have that degree, Brandon, but they're unemployed. You know, it's hard to remember God when you're not able to feed yourself, when you've got no hope. It's hard. It's difficult. How do you inspire and how do you touch that person? What do you say to that kid?
Your time and God's time is not the same time. Continue pushing. Everything will come into place, if I may. So your expectation and God's timing, they don't go together. So I would always encourage, don't stop dreaming, continue being you, and push towards and do what you love, if I may.
BlondZz, no, wait, I take that back. Prapi.
Yes, sir.
Look, man, thank you very much for coming through, making the time, of course, on your day when you're not working here at eNCA to come and just show us what exactly it is that you do outside of eNCA. You know, come and share your passion with us. Thank you very much. So we're going to allow you to head on over there and just warm your vocals up before you deliver us that beautiful performance. That, of course, is Brendan BlondZz Hendricks. He is eNCA's very own producer, of course. So when he's not out here giving you all of those great stories that we look good giving you, he's of course out there preaching the gospel through rap, you know, making gospel and making Christianity, you know, attractive to the younger people.
Absolutely, and of course he's a multi-talented Brendan, I must say that this morning as well. His performance is coming up after the break.